think he's got a whole backpack.
There we go. There we go, folks. Thank you for being patient with us. We are into the game, and it's English for DeMusliM, and it will be Abbasid. Or no, sorry, Abbasid for DeMusliM, and okay, go ahead.
I'll take over for you, Dave. Now, guys, you might be noticing that on your screen at the moment, there's a little bit of lag coming through. We are using player POV at the moment. We're having a bit of technical difficulties behind the scenes. So that's why we're back on your screen at the moment right now. So hopefully we'll get it all sorted out for you shortly. I can see people running around everywhere. But there's going to be a rehost coming. Okay. We've got a rehost coming. Cool. I mean, that means we didn't miss anything.
I have enough time to get it straight in my mind. The Mista playing English, and DeMusliM playing Abbasid.
Wow.
Wow. There we go. We're just going to pretend. We're just going to do the YouTube cut. You're pro on that, right? We'll just cut it for YouTube at the intro of the next match. Yeah.
Just get rid of it. We can say all the TOS stuff now.
Exactly.
All right. So hopefully not too much longer before we head into that game. We can see that the prediction coming through for who will win game number 2 was just going through. It looked like DeMusliM was a pretty heavy favorite there.
I think the way he played Abbasid the other day, I believe it.
Yeah.
I think it's viable, yeah.
Yeah, he looked like he was quite far behind in that game, I remember, but still managed to hold on.
He looked comfortable.
Yeah, really comfortable.
Even though he was behind on the numbers, the way he set up his base with the walls, like the halfway walls with the TCs and everything, he just looked nice and comfortable in his little area.
Yeah. I got to agree with you. I guess one of my favorite things about playing the Abbasid is that their food sources take a little bit longer to exhaust, because not only do you have that bonus when it comes to the berries, but you also have got the cheaper villages. And a lot of people look at that and they think that it's an economic boost because you're reducing the cost of villages. But the way I think about it, it's really not. It's more of a tech bonus. It's more of a military bonus, because you can spend that extra resources on tech or on the military. But if you've got 2 TCs and your enemy's got 2 TCs, you're not really at too much of an advantage when it comes to resources. But yes, it looks like players now are in the game once again, so hopefully we get a observer POV coming through very shortly for you guys. Keep in mind, Mista is up 1-0 against DeMusliM, and we do indeed enter into game number 2.
And here we go, the Mista playing as English and DeMusliM playing as the Abbasid. I did it perfectly that time. Fantastic.
Indeed, you did. So, yeah, we've got over on the right-hand side of our screen, in the blue trunks, we've got the Mista playing the English, and you can see they're both having a similar scouting pattern here, meeting each other in the center of the map. And I don't know about you, Dave, but I always hate it when I see the enemy scouts so early.
Yeah, especially when he's trailing a sheep and I haven't even found one.
Oh, that's the worst.
It's like, come on,
and then you spot you know how I call them the triple-double. It's the 3 sheep in 2 patches, and you spot it, and he's just slightly ahead of you, and he gets all of them. Oh, my God.
It's the worst way to start a game, because it just feels like you're behind.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It's demoralizing. It's that classic, I'll just give up. Well, let's just go next already. But in a tournament setting, it's just not possible. But the Mista, he's looking strong. DeMusliM looking strong as well. So both players obviously incredibly talented here. But I'm curious what kind of opening we're going to see here from the Mista, because it doesn't look like he's gone for that early English wheelbarrow that we do sometimes see out of them. By the same token, DeMusliM doesn't look to have gone it either.
Mista and DeMusliM had an involved conversation a couple days ago outside, and they were talking about wheelbarrow, and Mista had like this long, 5-minute explanation of how it's not worth it in a lot of situations, and DeMusliM like politely was listening to him, and then he's like, I disagree.
Classic DeMusliM fashion.
Yeah, it was very polite.
Polite enough
great,
to listen, and then just no.
Yeah, he's like, I think it's pretty good. I don't know. He's got a lot of sheep, man.
He does. It could be a sign that the wheelbarrow is potentially better. But still yet to see either player looking for that wheelbarrow upgrade at this stage. So just going to be a pretty standard age up here, I suspect. We'll take a look over at DeMusliM's base, and you can see he's got that House of Wisdom coming up. So probably going to be looking to go for an economic wing early, Dave. I think I'd probably
Oh, it would be a meme.
Oh, yeah.
It would be an absolute... I would love it.
Imagine the trade wing.
Oh, my God. I think I did that once.
Oh, gosh.
But it was like on a water map. So
I'll allow it. I'll allow it. Yeah, actually, on water maps, those trade units can be pretty insane. But, yeah, we now see that it looks like a forced drop-off has happened. The Mista going to be dropping down his landmark. It's the Council Hall. I was holding my breath there for a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like this whole theory about the Abbey of the Kings. Obviously, you can't really use it, but players were using it with horsemen.
I think a big thing with Mista, as we've seen, is that he likes players to scout out what he's doing and then have them assume that he's going into something. So Abbey of Kings doesn't really give them much information. Maybe they can assume he's going into horseman or something, but the Council Hall gives him the opportunity to go into longbow. Obviously, it's the strongest landmark that they have to go up to the second age. And it also makes them think that he's automatically going into the longbows. And oftentimes, he switches that up. He opens spearman or he opens horseman.
Yeah, whereas if you open the Abbey of the Kings, well, everybody, I mean, you telegraph to your enemy exactly what you're doing. So, yeah, a difficult position. But now we see DeMusliM, was he potentially just adding a mining camp onto that stone? Let's double check. Yes, indeed he was. So it looks like 2 villages on stone already, dropping it down with a 3rd one there. So probably looking towards that second town center. We'll see if it gets denied, but no real surprises coming out here at this stage. Second town center, sort of to be expected at this point.
And you were thinking that the English would be going on to a second town center. That's the way you thought they might have to play against the 2 TC play from the Abbasid. But Mista, not yet on stone.
Not yet on stone. Does look like he has taken his villagers off gold, though, so that's a potential sign of the future. But yeah, I think that's definitely one of the ways that you can play it. The other is to look to go into fast castle, but typically it can be very difficult playing up against the Abbasid because they've got those swift timings that come in. They've got the 2 TC, and if they spot that you're doing a second TC, they might go for a 3rd TC, but then very fortunately you can go up with your King's Palace and sort of equalize. But we'll take a look and see whether that's what we've got. But DeMusliM actually going to be going for a wheelbarrow here.
Wheelbarrow, he's also dropping an outpost near the stones there. He's got 110 stone already, and I talked to him a little bit about it, like the outposts on the scattered resources as Abbasid, because it also adds to your Golden Age, those buildings, and it really helps when you know you're not going to be investing in military early. You're going to be going to those extra town centers, right?
Yeah.
So if you can keep this area secure long enough to get the stone in the bank, then you can get that second TC up to secure something else that you need.
Yeah. And so, I mean, we see DeMusliM is still quite a ways away from that second town center at this point. We're at 5 minutes 20 at the moment. I remember speaking with Mista early on after Age of Empires 4 came out, and he was rushing second town centers with Abbasid, and his world record time was 4 minutes 45 seconds. So you can see that DeMusliM playing it a little bit safer in this situation, delaying it. But now look at that. Mista also going for a wheelbarrow as well.
Yeah, so he's just playing into a couple longbowmen, and he stopped making them. He's just playing a couple to try and poke away at DeMusliM's eco, maybe potentially deny a TC placement in a spot that he feels is important.
Yeah.
And force the TC placement somewhere else.
This is pretty bad for DeMusliM right now, because whilst he does have that outpost up, Mista is clicking on that stone, and he is seeing that only 200 stone's been taken off that. So he can click down there. He can see you don't have enough for a town center yet. So if I stop you, it's going to be bad for you. But he does manage to get enough to go up to the next stage. Interestingly, we've now got stone being collected here by Mista as well. So it could mean that we see a potential outpost coming up where he looks to get arrow slits, or he could be going into a second town center himself.
Archery range stable from DeMusliM.
Looking to play that in H2.
So even if he gets the stone, I mean, my man's not going to have wood for a while for a second town center. So, and he's hiding them behind the TC too. So DeMusliM wants to surprise Mista's army here with army of his own, but Mista completely cut production. So there is a window for DeMusliM to do damage. It just the question is how fast does he produce and how much does he produce?
And now we see it looks like it's going to be archers. So not even opting for camel archers in this situation, just going for straight archers.
I don't think he has the res for camel archers here.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think this is actually a very big brain move here from Mista, because I'm not sure if you saw, but there was a lot of villagers on stone back in his base. So we might even potentially see Mista look to get ahead in the TC game up against the Abbasid, and that's a position you never want to be as Abbasid, behind on the TCs.
And I wonder what he does as soon as he sees this first horseman, because he didn't spot the stable at all. He's going to see the horseman now, and his heart rate is dropping. So did he know this is coming?
Classic
I'm sure if we
Mista.
ask him later, he'll be like, yeah, I knew everything. I played it out of my mind.
He's done really well so far to delay that second town center. I think that's really what it's about, because if you can delay that second town center, obviously you're delaying the villages being created as well, forcing your enemy out to make those extra military production buildings is so strong for you. But we see those cute little palings coming out there on the wood line as well. And now it looks like he's going to be coming around down towards the south and look at a little bit of damage on the raid, but he's playing up against English. And if there's anything that you know about the English, it's they have very tight bases.
And there's the other town center. It's going to be able to protect that gold, protect the farming, protect the wood line as well. And of course, he's got the council hall to produce units, and it's just 2 horsemen. So there's not much damage to be done right now as DeMusliM has cut production completely.
The difficult spot for DeMusliM now is that I think he might have got his second town zoner up behind this, and indeed he has. It looks like it's on berries. Is that you can't punish this English town center. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Just simply because of how many arrows it shoots. The English have a lot of bonuses available to them when it comes to defending. One of the biggest ones is the town center fires double the amount of arrows. And that is not just the capital town center, that's every town center. So you chuck in 10 villages in that bad boy, it's going to fire like crazy.
So DeMusliM is paying half price for his villagers, but the Mista still with a 1 villager lead. He got the second TC up earlier, and now DeMusliM is going to those external berries. And I love the fact that he town-centered those berries. I love having extra access to food as Abbasid, because a lot of times when you're dropping the farms, you lose momentum in the transition period. Having those extra food sources is so important.
And that's one of the big things when it comes to dropping those farms. And even though DeMusliM is paying a cheaper price for his villagers, Mista's got incredibly efficient food sources right now. He's got that wheelbarrow in, he's got plenty of farms dropped down, and he's continuing to add them. We can see both players now working towards Castle Age, so a fair bit of scouting coming out, spotting it out, and now we see that third town center.
This is very reminiscent of the game he played before.
That's exactly it. Now, Mista's going to be able to match this, and he's going to be able to go up to the third age himself and match that third town center, so he's not going to be at any sort of disadvantage. And I suspect this, as the tournament continues to go on, this is exactly the style that we're going to be seeing here, because players realize the English second town center is so difficult to stop, so difficult to deny, so difficult to punish.
But if you think about investment into economy, I mean, even with 3 TCs, he's paying less for villager production than the 2 TC from Mista. So if he ever gets this eco up and running, it could be very dangerous. And Mista now going for a wall on the side there, and he's got a wall. Is he penning in the stone? Is he going to keep it as a pet?
This is really... okay, I think what's happened is he wanted to get this wall up here.
Yeah, and then he decided this one is better.
Yes, because he doesn't need the berries. He doesn't need the stone. Because as the English, typically you wouldn't even bother taking the berries because you don't need to, just simply because your farms are so much better. Now we see that third town center in the form of a King's Palace getting dropped down for Mista. So both players entering onto 3 TCs, as we suspected would be happening in this matchup. And now look, we've got a culture win coming through. So both players neck and neck at this point, Dave.
Even with wheelbarrow.
Yeah. Both players wheelbarrow, both players 43 villagers. This is intense.
I mean, well, it's intense in that we can compare the numbers. There hasn't been much fighting involved in the middle. It's been a chess match, if anything, as Mista pulls back some of those vills, and DeMusliM just wants to keep map presence with the horsemen. Lots of farming eco, beautiful farming economy set up in the back there, though.
This is one of the things I love about the English, just this farming economy. It's so safe.
Yeah.
And so affordable, so easy to transition into. For a lot of the other civilizations, putting down 75 wood farms.
There's a window that people can punish you, right? And that's what makes the English so strong.
There is no window. They close it because they're just constantly adding them in at half price. And so they never really notice it. They're always just making those farms, and you can just add them in willy-nilly whenever you've got a little bit of extra resources.
So there was a stable at the back from the Mista, and then there was double barracks being positioned at the left side of DeMusliM's base. So we've got an outpost coming up in the middle. DeMusliM's going to be heading into infantry, and the Mista, with only 1 stable, will probably be adding some cavalry there, and there's the first horseman on the field for him.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to make a little bit of an overextension here. Just a couple horsemen and a scout out in the middle. Going to be able to pick up these longbowmen. Unfortunately for Mista, throwing away a couple of units. But you got to wonder what the point of this was. What was the purpose? Because he knew there was cavalry out.
Yeah.
He'd been raided by it multiple times.
Yeah, I think he just didn't expect the cavalry to be here or something. This is very strange that these longbows just he gave up on them.
Yeah. But now veteran longbows also coming through, so that even makes me question even more.
It's even worse.
Yeah, he's just throwing away units and investing in them at the same time.
Maybe he threw those away so he could get the outpost up.
Potentially, and which, by the way, is an amazing outpost. That outpost is really good. Sitting inside that stealth forest, it's going to be very hard to target it down. You might not even know that it's there.
DeMusliM now adding, is that a 4th barracks back there? 5th barracks, maybe? No, 4 barracks, 1 stable, and 1 archer range.
Yeah, a lot of infrastructure going down, and then up towards the top of the town center. Even more going down up here. So he's really looking for this timing, and this is the exact timing that Mista needs to be very careful of. Because remember earlier I spoke about how as the English, if you're making the villages out of the town centers, you're paying full price for them. As the Abbasid, you're not having an economic bonus, but you are building up this extra store of food.
Yep.
That food is now going to be converted into men-at-arms, into archers, and it's really he's going to look to try and take control with an early push here in the castle edge.
I think Mista had something in the stealth forest back near those berries where DeMusliM was going to expand to in the far right, in the far left corner, I believe. And I think he's expecting DeMusliM to expand out to those berries in the left corner.
Left.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll get there. But there we go. It looks like it was a scout, so the scout spots it. So could potentially see a men-at-arm come through here, look to do a bit of damage. But we've now got veteran horsemen coming through as well for him. But take a look at DeMusliM, researching phalanx. So it's going to help out his spears significantly.
And he's got 6 barracks.
Yeah.
So this is going to get really intense really quickly here, and the Mista's going to have to find an answer.
It's going to get worse before it gets better for the Mista. And nice little cleanup back there, but we now see those military forces beginning to build for DeMusliM. He's sitting on 17, Mista also on 17. That outpost is now a stone outpost in the middle of the map.
Yeah, and he's got another one down here, and he had one at the top, too.
Yeah.
Look, he's building one at the top. He's just going to have a line of defenses, an early warning system.
Can we jump into the POV of the Mista and just get an idea of exactly what that line of sight is looking like? And oh, this is going to be absolutely beautiful.
It's actually beautiful.
Here we go now, picturing what we see for the Mista. You can see that he's got that little face going there. He's probably tacking away on the keyboard, but at the same time, look on his minimap, just absolute line of sight everywhere, Dave.
Yeah. And we can kind of see what he's playing. He's even going for a wall at the bottom there. Like, he's taking full map control here. He's like, okay, you're going to boom up your economy. I know you're 3 TC. I'm basically 3 TC. You're paying less for villagers, but while you're sitting back and building up, I'm going to take full map control, and I'll know exactly what you're doing it before you're even at my base.
Yeah, really good stuff from him, but I'm looking forward to seeing how he's going to be able to handle this push. Keep in mind this push from DeMusliM. It's going to be coming out shortly, I suspect, and he is playing the Abbasid, so it means he's going to have access to building mangonels in the field. It means he's going to have access to dropping down springlords if he needs to at a heartbeat. He's going to be able to have these guys down, but we can see that the mass now beginning to build for him.
This is what he needs to worry about, though. I mean, he can have all the vision in the world. He can see his own death coming from a million miles away, essentially, as that's a massive army building there from DeMusliM. 45 military population, only 30 military population for the Mista, and DeMusliM is still 6 villagers ahead.
Yeah, so this is exactly where it comes in. All that extra food that Mista has been spending on villagers, DeMusliM has been putting it into his men-at-arms. You can see he's got 21 men-at-arms at the moment, 16 archers. So he's got a huge amount of units, and he's going to be looking to really punish the Mista here. His window is in the next 3 to 4 minutes. Ideally, he wants to avoid Mista getting up to the Imperial Age, because if he does, he's going to have access to that enclosures technology, which just gives him so much longevity.
Yep.
But now we see a bit of a fight beginning to break out, Dave.
And DeMusliM is perfectly happy to engage this one-on-one, and Mista says, I'm out, as he sees all of the army there from DeMusliM taking out that outpost. He's going to pick away with the longbows. Unable to take a straight-up fight, though. Still only 38 population there from the Mista. We have 61 from DeMusliM. That's a good counter raid in there from the cavalry, and he's got getting a lot of good picks on the woodline, and DeMusliM just now noticing that's probably 4 or 5 villagers that will go down. I only see one body, though. How did they not kill more than that?
Because they're horsemen, Dave. They barely scratch their enemies, unfortunately.
I was sure they were going to kill at least more than one.
Had they been knights, you probably would have referred him to the Geneva Convention, but unfortunately in this situation, it is not the case. But now those mangonels really starting to build 3 mangonels out on the field, so gets that huge military mass, and now the push begins. Once he's out on the field, he drops down those mangonels. See the springwood coming out there as well. Springwood Tower going to be coming out as well for the Mista.
Good siege follow-up behind this. The infantry comes in. We've got some horsemen in the front there. The Mista building up an army behind. And he's got the longbows there to defend. He may have full vision of the army, but like I said before, there's nothing he can do to take back this middle area just yet.
Yeah, this is really tough for him. He's going to be trying to hold on here. You can see in his production queue, a lot of horsemen are being queued up right now, and he's trying to delay this with sprinkled outposts, but just not having a lot of luck. You can see just how much siege is coming out here for DeMusliM. He's looking very strong as he adds in another sprinkled now. So we see those 3 mangonels, the 2 sprinkleds. It's really a beautiful number, and still yet to see any sprinkles coming out for the Mista other than the emplacement.
Mista's trying to do 2 things at once. He's trying to bank res to go up to the next age, and he's trying to produce military. And it's a really tough line to toe there. Like, it's really, really difficult to judge how much you should invest into each. He's been at 1,000 food and like 700 gold for the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, and he's making the correct play. The problem is it's coming too soon, this push. As I mentioned earlier, there's a window here that DeMusliM knows he needs to push, and that's exactly why he's coming now, because if the Mista gets up to Imperial, he's going to be easily able to hold with the Berkshire Palace.
There's the keep there from DeMusliM, taking control of that wood line, slowly pushing forward. The Mista still hanging out near his town center, and he's got these horsemen running around, distracting DeMusliM a little bit, and probably going to go try for some more raids, but he has to be worried about these 3 sprinkleds, 3 mangonels. Man-at-arms here, he's got some spearmen here, he's got cavalry mixed in, I believe he's got crossbows mixed into that army.
You know, something I just noticed, Dave? I'm pretty confident those men-at-arms, they swing their swords depending on how fast they're walking. So if they're walking slow, they swing slow. If they're walking fast, they swing fast. And because he had them grouped with mangonels, he was walking extra slow, so they were swinging extra slow. But hopefully we pick that up a little bit later, because we've got ourselves a little bit of an engagement here. You can see the Springles just firing off towards those horsemen, and horsemen now looking towards a raid on that backside. We mentioned earlier that we might see a men-at-arm in there, but speaking of men-at-arms on the front line, there's a little bit of an issue going on for the Mista.
Yeah, the Mista is being pushed, and a couple of his landmarks are even at the front there. As he clears up a couple villagers at the back, berries, and DeMusliM's going to have to get his food eco sorted out. We can see the income per minute in favor of the Mista. He's investing all of it into army at the moment, and DeMusliM is forced to go for some extra farms as his food sources run out. But right now, still with the bigger army, still providing pressure onto the Mista's base. Has to be worried about the horseman raids, though. He can't take his eyes off that. That's very dangerous in the back if he doesn't notice this.
Yeah, he does manage to spot it. Mista doing the right thing here, trying to split the attention, but the issue is that he's only got 3 landmarks. He's lost the first one. Yep. The second one's being sieged right now.
And the third one is right there. So
it's not looking pretty right now for Mista. He knows he needs to try and break this. We see 8 horsemen in the queue.
He has
8
enough
longbows.
for a keep, though.
And a keep potentially going down, but not only that, but there's also a keep coming down here for DeMusliM as he waltzes into the middle of the army trying to take out those mangonels. I can't see too many left. There might be one underneath that keep, but the men-at-arms going to be looking to come down onto the south side of that force. Huge amounts of longbows still back here, focusing down these men-at-arms. Plenty of outposts back there. Take a look at that, Dave.
Yeah, I love those outposts positioned back there from the Mista. He's drawn a line in the sand. He says, "You shall not pass," and we'll see if that comes to fruition. It looks like he came in with the cavalry from the other side, sniped the remaining siegers, sniped some of it at least. He's still diverting attention from DeMusliM to the back of his base, where he keeps raiding the villagers. Landmark almost destroyed. It's burning right now.
It's burning. It's burning. It's under attack. And at the same time, we've still got those villager kills. But look at DeMusliM. His villager numbers are still absolutely fine. So he's got 107. It is slowly trickling down. A pretty decent raid here for Mista. He's going to be happy with this.
Look at his food per minute. The raids have been really effective from the Mista. He's down to 330.
Huge villager kill right there, trying to put down the keep. Unfortunately, loses a lot of villagers. More mangonel shots. You can see those villagers trying their best to get that keep up. They're going to be, unfortunately, going down before they can get inside. And Mista loses 20 villagers in the space of a few seconds.
Oh, my goodness. I looked a couple seconds ago, and he was up at, what, 113 villagers, and now he's at 93. That was absolutely devastating. I don't even believe he finished the keep over there.
It was very, very close, and the keep did actually get up.
Okay, the keep did get up. Okay.
So he manages to hold, but keep in mind that his town center is underneath there. So if he wants to get that back up, he's going to have to take down the keep first. Trebuchets have come out. We see Another keep getting thrown down here from DeMusliM. He's looking incredibly strong, and he smells that blood in the water.
Yeah, he smells the blood, but I think if he looks up at his resources, he also might sense that this push can't last forever. He doesn't have enough food in the bag. He's only stocking gold right now, so he's got to be very careful. He's done a great job with the 2 keep-in placements here and keeping the siege behind, but he can't toss away his military recklessly.
Yeah, he's got to be really careful to do that. You can see the longbows here just sitting back, holding on. Now, keep in mind, those landmarks are on the front here, so there could be at any point.
Oh, there's a keep in the middle from Mista.
Really smart move here, Dave.
Wow. Okay, so he just went around the army and got himself another fortification there. Is that the 3rd keep there?
There's a lot of keeps coming down. I think this might be the 4th keep coming down here. This is almost, I feel like we're entering into keep wars.
Yeah, it's a line of castles straight across the map, and the Mista spotted that, and he probably was able to kill a few villagers there. 108 villagers for DeMusliM, 98 villagers for the Mista, and DeMusliM is slowly increasing his food count, but you can see from the production queue alone, like, he hit that wall and he hit it hard as he manages to... Did he deny that keep?
I think he
did.
Has. Yeah, that's a doubt keep right there, my friends. Now, I'm curious to find out, just in the base of the Mista, which town center is his capital? Is it this one on the front line?
I think it is that one.
It's that one, okay.
Oh my god.
This could be bad for him, because if DeMusliM realizes and pays all of his attention towards these 2 buildings, he could end the game without even taking a fight.
And it looks like that's what he's trying to do. Horseman again in on another keep. Wait, that's the 5th keep for him?
That's a lot of keeps going down, and he's not even playing the French, which is typically the civilization that's going to be making lots of keeps because of their guild hall. That keep does actually get up, and you can see he's healing it up with that unique bonus or unique technology, and I think we might have an Imperial Age coming
it's
through.
A landmark rush here. He's got 2 rams behind. I think he knows.
Oh, this isn't good right now, but there is an Age 4 coming through for somebody. I'm not sure exactly who it is. I think it might be DeMusliM. We'll take a look at his House of Wisdom and see. No, it's the Wingard Pass.
That's way far away, too.
It's super smart move here. This guarantees that he stays alive and also puts him up to the next age. And interestingly, in the series before this, we actually saw Leenock going for the Wingard Palace. So this is going to be the 2nd English game we're seeing it today coming up. This is massive.
Yeah, and I think the Mista is going to let DeMusliM invest into this push. He's going to let him invest into the all-in towards the landmarks. He's going to have that Imperial Age landmark over there. And I think while this is going on, he'll pick away at the edges. He'll keep raiding, keep clearing up stuff like the rams here, send the longbows over to the wood line, and then he can pull his focus back to that main push once DeMusliM has kind of shot his shot at the middle of his economy.
I have no idea how he does it, it just leaves me speechless, really. It's so difficult to play up against this kind of style. And you can see that DeMusliM currently sits on 200 population, or 195 out of 200, whereas Mista's only on 127, and yet it kind of looks like it's almost even at this point.
But that's a lot of siege. Like, even if he takes out these landmarks, even if he doesn't defeat the Mista, he can get into that farming eco behind. It's an open base now. I mean, this is going to be heavy damage coming into his economy, but I believe he can weather the storm, and I'm not sure if Mista has enough to take out this big ball of siege.
Look at the mangonels that are starting to build up now as well for DeMusliM. This is looking reminiscent of Beastyqt's game earlier in the tournament. There's a lot of mangonels out here.
Yeah, the keep is the only thing keeping him away from the rest of the economy. The longbows are over there picking off the villagers. There is a keep there, though, from DeMusliM. 2nd keep going up in the middle there from Mista. What army is he building, though? His eco, his res bank is basically nothing.
Yeah, I think it's basically just the Wingard army is, I think, what it's called. It's that 1 trebuchet, 1 knight, 1 men-at-arms, 1 longbowman. I think there's also a spearman in there as well.
Now there's a trebuchet in there.
Yeah.
Oh, did you mention that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You get a nice little trebuchet for free as well. Well, it's not really for free. You got to pay for it, but you get it at a great discount.
It's a great price.
Yeah, it really is. But we can continue to see that DeMusliM is just adding in more mangonels.
9 mangonels.
I feel like that's
probably enough. Yeah. I think that's enough for basically anything.
Yeah, I think once you get to 9 mangonels, you can one-shot everything in the game.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll see if he looks to add any more potentially. Do the classic double-digit beastie move, but we'll see how he plays it out, but it's looking like a really difficult position here for Mista to get back into this game. He is down a significant amount of military.
Yeah, there go the farms. Oh my goodness, all the farms wiped up there. The horsemen are coming around behind. The Mista is still at 92 villagers. DeMusliM at 105. He's got a hold on the middle there with those 2 keeps, but still hasn't managed to do significant damage to DeMuslim's economy, and still does not have the army to take out this massive siege push in the middle.
Yeah, and this is exactly it. Like when you think about the push that happened, we identified the 3 TCs coming down for both players. I think Mista played it perfectly. The issue was that he wasn't able to defend that push that came in. So I think what would have been really helpful for him would have been an early keep, try and look to defend his position a little bit better, but unfortunately, it wasn't to be.
He is raiding a little bit. He's got horsemen in on the wood line. I believe he was on some farms earlier, but DeMusliM is just kind of sniffing around. He's like, where is that other landmark? Let me know.
Yeah.
Tell me, where is it? Because I'm going to get there eventually.
I'd love to take a look at his point of view and see if we can find out whether he spotted that landmark. It doesn't look like he's got any units up there at this point in time, so he's not going to have too much of an idea. He's chasing away those raids, being hit multiple positions. You can see the attacks just going off everywhere. Villagers out here trying to take down those battering rams as well. And Mista really hanging on this game.
Yeah, and if you're in DeMuslim's position, you're fine if the raids are just horsemen.
Yes.
You're absolutely fine. You're playing Abbasid. You can just make a few spearmen. You can even ignore it sometimes or have a singular keep. And it's not really bothering you all that much. Just keep most of your focus in with this siege push. And he's going to get over near this keep. And I think behind that keep is where the Wingguard Palace is.
Yeah, and you can see now another keep going to be going down right on top. I think Mista realizes how important it is to keep this bad boy alive. It's a beautiful landmark. It's unfortunate that it's getting covered up by that keep. It's really nice to look at, but look at these mangonels.
Would it be possible for Mista to go for a landmark rush now? An all-in? If you know he can't transfer this stuff over there.
Yeah, definitely. I think that would definitely be an option.
Because all you have to kill is the House of Wisdom and the town center.
Yeah, that's true. It's only 2. And how many keeps are back there defending that position? It doesn't look like
there's only 1.
Yeah, I don't even. There's nothing actually even close to it. So that's a good point. He could potentially look to go for that.
It would be a YOLO
trade.
play. It would be 100% YOLO, but he's getting the trebuchet.
He's got the Trebs. Oh my God, Dave, I think you might have called it. We could potentially see a little bit of a base trade come in here.
Like if he lets DeMusliM think that he's safe with that siege ball. Ooh, but there's so much army back here for DeMusliM.
There really is a lot of units back here, and I don't think, have we got any elite upgrades yet for the Mista? Clicking on the Men-at-Arms. These are still Vanguard Men-at-Arms. These are Age 1 Men-at-Arms. Doesn't have the Age 2, doesn't have the Age 3.
They're trying their best.
They're trying their best.
They're trying their best, man.
That's true, but a big raid coming in down towards this south position. That gold mine definitely going to be looking a lot less healthy now. And we continue to see just raids coming through.
Look at the walls debated DeMusliM. He's like, oh, there must be something back here.
Is there a Wingguard Palace back here?
On either side.
But now looking to drop down a keep. Now, typically in this situation, you'd expect the villagers not to be able to get that up, but those are only horsemen that are taking out that keep, so or taking out those villagers. So don't be too afraid if it does go up. And it looks like it is going to be, oh, it's close. Those horsemen actually doing a lot of work, despite only being veteran.
It's going to deny the keep here.
I think he gets it.
Denied?
That's a lot of villagers lost.
And
82
look at the
villagers.
villager count. 90 villagers for the Mista, 81 for DeMusliM. This is crazy, man. He's going to lose more villagers on that wood line. What is the big ball of siege doing? Is it coming back towards the middle of the map there? It is. Oh. Or no, he can't decide. He can't make up his mind what he wants to do.
Why are they all moving so slowly? What's going on with this siege? This is the problem when you group everything up together. They all decide to move extra slow. But it looks like that push is still going to be happening out in that position. We see the Trebs, triple Treb now coming through. And if Mista somehow manages to win this game, I tell you what, Dave, I'm going to eat my shoe.
What kind of shoes you got? You have comfy slippers on, though.
Well, are you saying that they're easier to eat than steak?
Dip those in a little bit of hot sauce, and I think you're fine.
Be more worried about the hot sauce. But these raids just keep coming through. And I think the consequence of not building walls is really starting to come out here. He over-chopped his wood line. He let all of those horsemen through. And it's just been...
I think he's going for the House of Wisdom now. I think he's going to make a push for it.
You reckon? There's a lot of trebuchets back here. You can see that the mangonels just hanging out in the middle of the map. Battering rams looking to try and make their worth or in the center there, but he is indeed posturing towards this position.
Yeah, I didn't realize how many buildings were in between.
He's focusing it down.
He's hitting it, and he's hitting the starting town center.
He's hitting it.
With the Trebs. Oh my goodness, this would be a giga brain play from the Mista to just kind of distract, let his base die, give himself the opportunity to go after this.
This is big. He could actually do this. Now, there's a lot of health on that House of Wisdom. Keep that in mind. I think there's about 17,000 health on that Imperial House of Wisdom. Indeed, there is.
But like, if you're shooting from this far away, if you're DeMusliM, you're not actively realizing this is happening because the Trebs are not on the same screen.
And that's exactly, it's that whole classic, the boy who cried wolf with the attack
And you're
signal.
busy with this stuff.
There's so much going on for him, he just doesn't even realize. He could just be sitting there, you know, with no idea going on and potentially lose this game. But now we see those trebuchets having to fall back. It does seem like he does pay attention and works it out eventually. You can see those men-at-arms and the spears chasing away.
It was a dream. And the dream might die here pretty soon as DeMusliM brings the siege back over, takes out the keeps in the middle, moves the infantry over there. So defending calmly.
Defend calmly. Defend calmly. Indeed. But now we see elite upgrades starting to come through for DeMusliM. Keep in mind, no elite upgrades through for the Mista. Still working with his Dark Age men-at-arms, unfortunately. But we can see that battering rams are just absolutely doing work towards this position. And that is a massive amount of units.
That is a huge... Look at his military count right now. 106. Yeah. It's absolutely insane, and it's all grouped together here. He's going for another keep to secure the middle of the map. He's going to try and clear up these trebuchet. I think it's 4 trebuchet now from the Mista. I think he dipped below 40 heart rate, too.
So he's got him right where he wants him, don't worry.
Exactly.
But yeah, it looks like both players have a pretty comfortable heart rate at the moment. That may be bugged. We will seek clarification a little bit later. Don't worry, fellas. But you can really see that he's setting up camp out towards this position, and he manages to hold and fend off that army. Now, keep in mind, Mista's economy behind this isn't really that hampered. He didn't lose a huge amount of villages. He's still sitting on 80, despite losing his
he lost
King's
a lot
Palace.
of land.
Correct.
He lost a lot of map control. He didn't lose a lot of villagers, and he killed a lot of villagers with the raids, but he can never really engage this army because he hasn't teched in anything that can.
Yeah, I'd love to take a look at the upgrades that we've got here on this army as well. So it looks like those men-at-arms are elite. They've been upgraded. You can see the 8 ranged armor on those bad boys, and there's just so many of them. How do you even deal with that many?
Yeah. I don't have an answer. Not with the current state of Mista's army.
Oh, if we took the mangonels from DeMusliM and gave them to Mista, then you could deal with it.
Yes.
But unfortunately, that is going to be a pipe dream because we now see DeMusliM continuing to clean up this position over towards his base. The trebuchet is just firing off, actually taking out a Springald. So potentially, do we have shattering projectiles? Are we able to check the Siege Workshop and see if we've got shattering projectiles
on the gold
through for our English player yet? We'll have a look now. Doesn't look like it. But plenty of trebuchets in the center of the map, and I love the way that they're positioned here, just underneath these 2 keeps.
This might be a last-minute run. He's going for that keep. Okay,
Logan,
confirm, we do have shattering projectiles there.
Logan, what are you doing? Get out of here. That's a good boy if you've ever seen one.
Logan's cheering. Who's Logan cheering for?
He's got to be a Mista guy.
Yeah, he wants the run to succeed, and we may see, like, all the army is up here from DeMusliM. The Trebs are in the middle. There's a clear path to go set up to attack that.
Yeah.
I think if you're at, 140, he's at 148 pop, but I think if you're at 64 villagers, you're thinking, what can I do possibly to win this game? Maybe a sneak attack.
Just pull everything.
Yeah.
Just pull everything and go for the throat.
Yeah.
We've seen it plenty of times before. I remember watching a game, I think it was Don Artie versus Casper. He did the exact same thing. We saw Casper with 130 villagers straight to the landmarks of Don, and Don was playing the Abbasid as well, so it's definitely a possibility we could see Mista look to do something like that, but he's got a huge amount of units looking to try and take control of this northern position. The hand cannoneer is going to be coming out as well. It looks like he's still working with veteran longbows, though. Dave, I don't know if he's going to be able to do this.
Yeah, he's pulled all the army this way, and I'm wondering if he can clear this up. The hand cannons need to back up now. The longbows, like you said, are not fully upgraded, and he's still losing eco in the back. I just want to know what he's going to do with those trebuchet. Does he have an idea to go in?
Well, he's under attack towards that position, but you can see all those trebuchets slowly building up. Just without that line of sight, not going to be able to fire down. And you can see he's actually microing this quite well, keeping alive those hand cannoneers and working towards that English network of castles. But now we start to see splits happening out from DeMusliM. He's heading into the food line. Trebuchet's back here, going to be looking to throw down a little bit of support on those infantry units, but it doesn't look like it's going to be too much. Look at all those Trebuchets down there, Dave.
Yeah, he's got an army of trebuchets in the middle. He's got an army of trebuchets at home as well, but now his economy is being raided even more. 57 villagers for him. At one point it was equal at 90 a couple minutes ago, but now the economy from the Mista going down, the farms being hit, and DeMusliM shifting all of his stuff over to the south, and he's replaced more keeps. He's probably built 10 keeps this game, if not more.
Yeah, there's been a huge amount of keeps that have came out this game. But yeah, DeMusliM still looking very stable. You could see his resources starting to climb. Yet the Mista, with half the population, still manages to hold on. DeMusliM just having a lot of trouble closing out this game.
Yeah, well, do you blame him? I mean, like, there's been so much misdirection, armies attacking at all different sides. Like, the last landmark was on the opposite side of the map. Like, it's just a game where you're kind of hampered by the speed of your siege ball.
Yeah, that's exactly it. He's gone for an immobile army. That's a lot of Trebs.
But that's a big army too.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the day that we just see 10 trebuchets just one-shot that entire army.
Oh,
from
see
downtown.
You later, Mangonel.
That was 3 points. That had to be.
Yep.
That was absolutely huge. If he could set that up, he could make something work. That shattering projectiles, you got to watch out for it. It is incredibly strong with these English trebuchets. We will continue to watch him unfold these Trebs, potentially looking for more victims.
He's going for the three-pointers, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he's going for it with the outposts in front of these, too.
This is smart.
Imagine if he, like, we're in the 4th age now, so imagine if he sets up, like, a stone wall in front, the Trebs within range of the House of Wisdom with the TC.
Wow.
And stone walls around, and you just start slinging, basically.
Look how many Trebs he's got. This is absolutely crazy. I'd love to see from him just a creep forward, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
You know, we see that outpost coming down now. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. He's just got to be so careful not to lose these. Now going to be focusing down these infantry. Let's see if he manages to make... Oh, I don't know if he can hit anything just then, Dave.
Yeah, and he needs... Now he needs army in front because DeMusliM is coming in. And, oh, look at that. DeMusliM is in the farming eco at the back with range units. And DeMusliM is keeping just enough here to prevent those Trebs from going forward. Good connections, though.
He's getting great connections. The main issue, I think, is the trebuchets just don't do much damage to infantry.
Yeah, I would think like a rock falling from like 200 feet up in the air would do more.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Yeah.
But it turns out, no, it doesn't. But, yeah, I mean, great job of shutting down the economy here of Mista. Mista down to 42 villages. And we continue to see him pushing forward. I think the crazy thing is that even though we can see DeMusliM so far ahead, he realizes that he's on the edge. If he lets these trebuchets even have just 60 seconds alone, he loses.
I'm surprised he's letting them get this close, to be honest. He's nervous about getting hit, but like he has the eco to reproduce those units. He shouldn't be nervous about those units at all. He's got 11,000 food in the bag. He's got 4,000 gold, and he's just camping on the farms from the Mista. Don't even give him this opportunity. Let's say this is a 5% chance. You can make it a 0% chance here.
Correct.
And look, he's within range.
He's going for it. You can see the health on that town center. He's focusing it down. This could be it, ladies and gentlemen.
What is happening here? Where is the army from DeMusliM?
The town center is going to go down. That's going to leave him with one landmark. Keep in mind, if that second landmark goes down, that is going to be it. You can see DeMusliM getting caught a little bit out of position here. The trebuchets continuing to unfold.
They're attacking the House of Wisdom.
House of Wisdom getting taken down. We could see a Mista victory here. You can see DeMusliM going to be moving up. Keep in mind, he's playing the Abbasid. He doesn't have that force march like the Delhi do.
He's trying to repair his town center, too. He's trying to repair his town center. There's no way that's going to be in time if all of these Trebs are blocked. He's coming in with the infantry. One trebuchet is down. Another one is unpacking. He's going to be repairing the House of Wisdom behind this. Is he going to be in time? The House of Wisdom is on fire.
No way.
It's on fire.
He's going for it. This could be it. This is going to be it. They're coming in. Oh.
And the town center is up again.
No way.
Is it complete, though? Look at the Mista looking at the screen.
Oh, he did it!
Takes
He won the game!
He takes it!
Holy shit! What the hell? If his heartbeat is not above 60,
look at him! Look at that face! 40 villagers, Drongo! 40 villagers! 7 Trebs and a dream.
Wow. All right. All right. What a game.
I'm so glad you were here with me.
Jeez.
Also, can I bring up the fact that I called that at like 30 minutes?
Oh, yeah, you did. Yeah. Whew. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to need a quick break.